I'm Victoria Devine, millennial money expert and the host of the She's on the Money podcast, and this is Talking Financial Wellbeing with Australian Unity. Today, I'm talking to Esther Kerr, who is the CEO of Wealth and Capital Markets at Australian Unity. Esther, I'm so excited to talk to you today about financial wellbeing. Can you tell me a little bit more about, well, what if I am not in a position yet to buy a property, or I haven't got an estate plan and I haven't really thought about my will, and maybe I have children or I don't have children, I haven't thought about this. Where do we start when it comes to financial well-being, and what do you think are the most important factors?
Job security. I really value my independence, and if I lose everything, but I know I can go out and get a job and support myself and support my kids, that's probably what I think about first.
Yeah.
So first of all, education and employment. Then I think you've got to live somewhere. So you don't have to own the house. Vast swathes of Europe, owning a house is not the big dream.
We think it is though, because
of
the great Australian dream, and I feel like over the last 30, 40 years that has really shifted and it's not the reality for most people.
No, that's right.
So is it okay to
rent? It's okay. It's okay to rent. More important that you have stability in your housing and you're living near your community and living near your friends for your overall well-being.
Yeah.
But then you do want to be saving. And the thing about owning a house is it's a way of forced saving in a way. And many people, other than the compulsory super, will retire and they will only have two assets. They will have whatever they've got in super and they will have whatever equity they've got in their house. So if you can do that, that's wonderful. If you can't, you can rent. And you can find other things that you can invest in that also deliver really great returns and help you participate along with the uber wealthy in the growth in the economy and get ahead. But your options in your 30s will be a lot broader if you find the brain space to start thinking in your 20s about how much am I going to spend and how much am I going to save. And if I save, where might I put it? It's as simple as that.
100%.
Then you get to your 30s, then you might be partnering up, then you might be having children, and you must think about health insurance.
When it comes to saving, you touched on that before. You said we all should be saving, we all should be, thinking about our investment options. Where do we start? It's the new age. It's not the 1980s anymore. There aren't any limits on investment or savings amounts. Do you think that it's worth it if you don't have a lot of savings in your bank account?
100%. Every $1 million starts, unless you inherit it, starts with the first 10. So I wasn't given a big trust fund when I graduated. I know, I was completely...
We'll have to take that up with someone after this.
But I started saving, very early. And I just put a bit away. I just put a bit away, and I didn't know if it was going to be enough for a deposit to start with or not. Looking back, I probably could have went too far. I worked, I had my head down too much in my 20s, and now I'm a bit older. I wish I'd turned the dial back a little bit and saved a bit less and had a bit more fun. But that decision about how much to save and how much to have fun, it's going to be very, very individual. But as long as someone makes it,
and you never get it right.
Thinking about it. No.
Not making a decision is still a decision. And
absolutely.
To absolutely juxtapose your circumstances, I did the exact opposite. By 22, I was in $42,000 worth of purse and had absolutely buried myself because I was living my best life. You're only young once, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because I think so many people think that you can't come out of those circumstances or that makes you bad with money, when arguably I would say I'm pretty good with money nowadays. Yeah. But I've been in a position where I did take on a lot of personal debt, and it actually had nothing to do with my financial literacy. My dad was an accountant. He's one of the smartest men, but you know what you don't do when you're a young female? Listen to your parents.
No, that's
you don't
true.
Want that advice. You don't want to do that. And so I knew that the decision I was making wasn't amazing, but I also didn't understand the ramifications of that. So I want to know, best and worst, what is the best financial advice you've ever been given?
The best advice is the thing that I've now done that I wouldn't have done otherwise. And I hate to think if I hadn't, which is the advice I was given to go and get my powers of attorney sorted out. My medical power of attorney, my financial power of attorney. they're in place, and I don't worry about that anymore. So really good advice. The worst advice is probably get too cute. You know, get too cute, get too complex, get too clever. That doesn't reflect my life, my aspirations, my risk appetite. I wish that I had had earlier on the confidence to not try and delegate all of this stuff to the smart people that knew more than me, or think that it was only for the wealthy. And I just followed my intuition, been honest with myself, saved earlier and saved regularly without overcomplicating things.
I love that. And it's so easy to access advice and tips and tricks these days. All you have to do is head online. It is so easy. I feel like it's so overwhelming, but it can be so easy. There's so many different platforms.